Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's see if we can go live on Instagram. Let's make sure. Good afternoon. This is the VeeFriends comics stream. I am going to go live, hopefully, on VeeFriends Comics on Instagram. We should be live on VeeFriends TikTok. What's going on? Let's go open this up so I can see the live chat over there. Mute this tab. It's been a minute. Let's do that. Okay, should be able to see you guys live over there. Let's just try to fix the Instagram feed. That's not working. Go with that. We're gonna hit it one more time. I'm gonna go to my settings. Copy stream key. Let's see. Trying to go live on Instagram as well. Let's see how it goes. Last time we tried to do this for Instagram, it wouldn't go, so it might just be a no-go for Instagram, but welcome. I'm going to be drawing the VeeFriends comic today for the Sunday comic, and I'm also going to be opening up. We've got this guy that just came today. Okay. I can't seem to get Instagram to go. That's a bummer. Oh well, we're out Instagram. I'm gonna open up this today. This is the new issue that just launched, just came out. Hoping to get one of those Andrew Drillin covers. Let's see what's in here. It feels stiff. This might be the issue 3 in here. By the way, I'm DJ Kaufman, the director of comics here at VeeFriends. I'm reading your chat over there. What's up, LG? Boiler, what's going on? JMOS, good afternoon. I'll be opening this up in a little bit. Getting myself set up. I'm going to be live for a couple hours here working on a comic strip. Got to get my VeeFriends handy for the top of my... This should be video. What's going on? Oh no. Should be set to video. There we go. I have 1 wizard and 2 wizards now. I don't even know how that happened. It's like magic. Alright, we're going to put the wizard up there along with the patient panda and a little adventurous astronaut up top. I gotta get something going for the top of this pen, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just grab a random mini. These are the VeeFriends minis. If you're not familiar with VeeFriends, hang out. I'm going to be drawing some comics here, talking about stories. I just dropped this mini on the floor. That's the beauty of live. Where did it go? I don't know. It is gone. Okay. Fate said you're going to open this one. Let's open this one up. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, comics are arriving. People are reading them. Alright, we've got a little lava humble hedgehog. I'm all for that. Let's put him on the pencil and we can get going here. Kind of guide through the Sunday comic from this week. That was in newspapers. We're going story style now. So we've got the wizard. He's got his little ghostly hand, or his little magic hand. In this comic, he's going for the icy ice cave, and we have, you know, issue 2. Where's my issue 2, guys? What's going on here? issue 2. Anyways, Icy Ice Cave is in issue 2 of the VeeFriends comic books. If you want to keep up on all things comic books, go to VeeFriendsComics.com/comic books. Get on this mailing list. You're going to want to be on that mailing list. Here we can actually read the comics for free, so I can show you what I was just about to show you. A little bit of ways in the story here. We've got the Icy Ice Cave. And Fearless Fairy found her wands there. So in the Sunday comic, which goes out to a lot of people that don't know what VeeFriends is, so this just looks cool in the newspaper. When they open it up, it's like a half page of coolness. They see this wizard, this polar bear. What the heck is VeeFriends? That's the whole point. What's up, Tom? What's up, Jamos? Tweeter, what's going on? Tiny Bot. Thanks for watching. Over here on X and on YouTube Live, it looks like. Okay, cool. So I'm doing a follow-up to this comic. So now, the wizard was trying to get in the Icy Ice Cave. Prudent Polar Bear was saying, no, get out of here. Wizard actually threatens to shrink him into a mini capsule. A VeeFriends capsule. And he threatens to bite his hand off, and then he just says, okay, I'll find another way in. He's like, sigh, wizards. And then, for those that don't know, in the newspaper, they can click that and read the comics online for free. So, in the week before that, we did the Fear Carrot from issue 2. Kind of like the first time I tried the story version of the Sunday comic. Gary said, let's get away from the weekly lessons and all that stuff, the heavier stuff. Let's just go for the adventure and the storytelling, and I'm all for it. So we kind of retold the Fear Carrot from issue 2, which controls people with fear, or can be used for good or bad, I guess. Here's a different version of Flexing Fox, based on Corso's. I asked Corso, I said, Corso, what's the origin story of Flexing Fox? He said there was a fox. He was in the woods, and a gold chain fell out of the sky, fell on his neck, and I'm like, so that's kind of based on what this, it's just supposed to be a fox running away from the farm, but it was a funny moment. I was like, I like that. I kind of like that story, but also a couple things to point out in this comic was the gnome is saying that they're really good at hiding. Like, I barely escaped because luckily we gnomes can hide very well. So from his point of view, he's a good hider. But over in the comic, whenever Fearless Fairy finds the gnome, she says, hey, you, come out. I see your hat. Learn to hide better. So it's kind of like two different points of view kind of thing. What's up? Frenetic, Clay, Clemhouse, what's going on? BG Wildraws, Larry, what's going on? I haven't been live in a moment. I can't tell you why either, because I'm working on some stuff that I can't show you. But I'm going to open this in a little bit. It's my copy. I bought it with my own dollars. Pre-sale. Just wanted to make sure I got one copy that was raw. Let's see here. So yeah, this is what we're doing with the comics now, and I'm pretty excited about it because it's just a different vibe altogether with the storytelling. So what I've done is I'm continuing the story from the Icy Ice Cave, and here we've got a new setup. I have already roughed it out a little bit. The bear is going to be kind of lured away by fish, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to start drawing that. And then let's set a timer for 15 minutes. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Let's go.
15 minutes.
All right. I cannot read. I can't read any of the comments on TikTok because it's all jacked up. The accounts are all messed up right now. Got to get them all aligned. And I can't go live on Instagram for some reason. It just won't push to live. So, it is what it is. However, we are here now with 211 people watching. Please, go ahead and share the streams or whatever. Let people know that I'm live if you want. All right, so I'm gonna just get to this one because this is my work for the day, and I'm finally able to show something that I'm working on, which is kind of nice. Been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, tons. So I've already done the rough, so I'm gonna fade that out. Thought wrongs. Okay, I can see you. I can see a comment over there in TikTok now. I'm just not logged in as the admin of TikTok, so I can still see the chat, which is good. All right, great. Good to know. Thank you, sir. Hope you're well. I've been getting so many messages from people going, is everything okay? You're not as live as much as you were before. And even at Fanatics Fest last weekend, I had some people concerned saying like, is everything okay? And I'm like, actually, everything's like super awesome right now. Just all the stuff that we're working on that I can't talk about, but we're designing specifically things like this comic where, it's the Sunday comic. However, it's connected to the story that's out there already. So we can talk a little bit about that. So I'm able to talk about things that have already been published and kind of build on the lore and the canon and the world building that we're doing. So I'm just doing the boring part here, putting the borders in. Drawing on a Procreate app on an iPad Pro. And go a little bit bigger with this. This one. Yeah, so I'm always I've been working a lot, and I've been doing a lot of writing too. I told someone else, I think I was talking to Roach at Fanatics Fest, and I said, I've been doing a lot of writing, and which isn't typical for me, but now that I've got a comics team, we've got 3 full-time comics illustrators. Chris Faison, Kate Wendell's joined the team full-time as well. Shout out to Kate. Kate Comics with a K. KK. And Ali Castro. And since I've got these illustrators and we've got about 21 different franchises, I'm calling them, or buckets to make for things that we brainstormed in Minnesota. So there's 21 different types of things that we could be working on at once. Which is crazy, but awesome. And that's what we're doing. We're slowly building that up. And I feel pretty confident about this. This is a rough, but I'm just going to go right to inks. Because I'm trying to increase my time too. Where I could usually go in here and just do really tight, nice pencils. But I'm pretty confident with this one because it's, I kind of feel like I wouldn't do anything different with the lines here. This is Prudent Polar Bear. And he's kind of, maybe I would mess with the sniff a little bit. I have sniffy sniff. So his nose will be a little crooked. There. As he's smelling the fish that have been strategically laid out for him to lure him away from the icy ice cave. It's so funny. And I'll even make like a trail of, that's why I got this little line here. You know what's up. It's like an old cartoon where the aroma. just coming by his mouth. Hey, when my alarm goes off, I'm going to open up my copy of issue 3. On Thursday, on the Whatnot stream, if you're not familiar, we're on Whatnot sometimes. On Thursday's Whatnot stream, it's usually me and Corso. Corso's doing something else. And it'll be me and Jeremy, but I'm going to read through issue 3 and also do some ripping signs. So make sure you bookmark that show on the Whatnot app. You don't want to miss that. Maybe I'll give something else away too. I don't know. We'll see. I got some fun stuff to fool around with there. So anyways, back to drawing. Yeah, but in the mornings lately, I've just been getting to it. By the way, if you're new and watching, I just want to say, email us at comics@VeeFriends.com. If you're new, we like to say what's up to you and maybe send you something nice. If you're an artist, you want these brushes, I'll also give you the brushes. So hit us up, comics@VeeFriends.com. Sure. If you're new, don't be like, I've been watching you for a while and I never emailed. Just, be new. If you've talked to us before, don't try and get something else. It won't work. Corso's like, wait a minute. This guy's in disguise. Corso will know. Yeah, so I was debating when I was writing this one. I wrote it up a little bit yesterday, and because I actually had a whole other. I'm so used to changing the characters every week that then it occurred to me. Gotta be careful what I say because I almost just said something I shouldn't say. It occurred to me in some conversations that we had that people do want to see like a recurring adventure kind of thing and get to know the characters especially when they're out there in the newspapers. So one of the reasons we're in the newspapers is because people still read newspapers. A lot of people, believe it or not, that's very common, and we're out there in 72 newspapers across the country and maybe more in the future. And someone that just saw that wizard trying to sneak in the cave, now we get to see the kind of like chapter 2 of that. And if they missed it, they can go on the website. It should be up on the website today or so. So I do need to go in and pencil these little bears here because he's going to be like running across the bottom until he gets to the smell of the fish. And I think I'm going to kind of draw a spiffy salmon, if you know Spiffy Salmon from VeeFriends. I'll try to pencil him in there. So let's get to some penciling. Yeah, just be new. We love new people. We love new people at VeeFriends. Love to see the new. Love the old people too. Well, I love all the OGs. We'll talk about that in a second because we kind of did this drop of this comic a lot differently this time. It was kind of quiet, I think. People even told me, like, DJ, I didn't even know there was a drop happening. Because I didn't talk about it a lot either, and I'll talk about that in a second why. But it's very interesting strategies we've got going on behind the scenes. So I'm gonna have the bear like he's caught a scent. He's kind of running. Claws, I think. Pretty sure he's got some claws. Anyways, he has claws now. Doesn't matter. Kind of want his nose up in the air here. So this is all part of. I'm gonna do this action to make him into. That actually looks like the polar bear. Yeah, so I thought this would be kind of cool. It just occurred to me this morning. I was walking the dog and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll milk this out a couple weeks with the wizard sneaking into the cave. Maybe what's in the cave for him, or what, maybe you don't see it, I don't know yet. But what's the wizard up to? There's already been some, like, wow, is the wizard a bad guy? Is he, you know, what's he doing? You know, that's exactly what we want. We want people to think about the characters and their motivations and their intentions. Do they have good intentions? Do they have bad intentions? Yeah, Larry, I totally missed the drop. I know, I didn't talk about it. I'll tell you why in a minute. I'll tell you why. He's going to have his nose down here. Polar bear's got kind of a big snout. Now he looks like when a dog catches a scent. But now he's like, oh, he's got it. Maybe he'll still be looking at the scent. No, I think he should be looking down. Kind of cross-eyed at it, yeah. It's fun to do cartooning. It's fun to draw, you know? Well, Larry's in the drawing club. I got a drawing club. I'm spending some more time on that. We've been building some things behind the scenes for that there. You're going to see it real soon, Larry. Another thing we didn't talk about. Just stop talking about stuff and just start doing stuff. So we're excited. My wife and I are excited to be working on some drawing club stuff. That's just drawing prompts and talking to artists and keeping artists encouraged. You know, put a little drop shadow underneath here. Cool. And you gotta be like a different type of pose here. Different type of time of day for me too, I know. Usually I'm a morning person, but lately I've had to get up super early in the morning and, you know, I gotta bust out some work that you guys can't see, but his eye's bigger now. Like he's more obsessed with this smell. Been fun to kind of play with the characters a good bit more, and story is just so interesting, you know, studying a lot of story stuff, and I've always done that. I've always kind of studied storytelling, and not just by reading other stories, but just taking away what's not important, focusing on what drives the narrative a little bit more. It's fun to go back and see mistakes you made when you were much younger, where you just added a little too much, you know? Like, people don't need to know about this. You know, people don't need to know this or that. Okay. What am I at here? 1 second. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to open up my copy of the VeeFriends number 3. VeeFriends number 3 here. I don't like to do the pulling it apart thing. You know, these pro rippers on Whatnot, Make sure you don't cut the... We'll talk a little bit about this as I'm pulling out. By the way, everybody's doing this now. There are a lot of people doing these blind bags now. But the second that Gary, I just want to say, like, Gary was ahead. I don't know, like, he psychically could see or something. I don't know. He's magic. That his vision for doing this was way before anything else like this came out. And I could totally, I was like, this is cool. Yeah. Blind bag mini comic size is what he said. He wanted to differentiate himself from the market, multiple covers inside. The actual vision that Gary had, it took us longer to do it. And as we were doing it, we were going through finding the bagger and all this stuff. Boom, Marvel's launching theirs. A couple other people. Robert Kirkman launched one, like Hulk, like Daredevil, like. So it's really funny that they have the machine they have the machine together for Marvel, of course. But it's just fun to watch this come together, and we'll get faster and faster. We're a little bit like this drop came a little bit longer between the issues, but there's a lot that goes into this. For instance, and I wish I had a timeline to show you, but like, number one, we got to draw the comic. That's not the easy part, but that's the fastest part for us. Drawing the comic, coming up with the artwork is all done. And then we have to work with a printer. There's two different printers that we work with, and there's actually a third party. There's a broker kind of in between, a specialty print house, that we have a person that says, like, basically we can make sure that your books go from the printer to the special bagging plant, and then your sketch cards are going to get inserted. That's another thing. The sketch covers have to be sent to us ahead of time, drawn on, and then resent back to this place, and then they all wait for the final files and all this stuff at the bagging plant. The bagging plant then ships it to our offices plus our fulfillment center, and then from there, it gets shuffled twice actually, at the plant and then at the fulfillment center, and then finally you have books in your hand, and then we can sell them. It's quite a long process, but we're getting it down to be a lot faster. Let's see then the experience of actually just opening these up. Well, let's see. I want to bend mine. That was kind of the joy of it, really, is seeing what you're going to get. So I'm going to pull out this side. Oh, we got the back cover was basically the print that we put out too, but it was always meant to be a back cover, really, because this is the V-World issue. So there's a lot of the different locations across V-World. Just some of the locations across V-World. And looks like I got a base. All about that base cover. And hey, if you get your copies and you open them, and then I want you to open the cover. I want you to open page 1 and actually read it. Read the comic. Because that's what Gary and I want you to do. We want you to read the stories and talk about the stories and talk about the character development. And there's a lot going on in this little issue. And by the way, these are shorter stories, this issue 2 and 3. But we're going to more full-scale stories, like 22 pages for the next issue. Or no, not for the next issue. But future issues, they're all bigger. So, yeah, there you go. That's my copy of VeeFriends. I'm going to go ahead and put it back in its bag. And I'm going to do some ripping signs, just me, because I'm here. Gary's gallivanting around the world. And then he will also have some in the future for some ribbon signs. So if you're looking for a signed copy, Please don't buy anything that you can't afford. But there's some also on eBay. Great. Enough talking all that stuff. Let's draw some comics. And yeah, that's Chris Faison drew the interiors. I wrote the story, and we could talk a little bit about that while I'm talking. I won't say. Oh, I could say it. It's not like everyone's watching, so it doesn't really matter. But I can tell you that issue specifically was the first issue that I wrote after Gary gave me the instruction of wanting to go a bit deeper. And how do we cover some topics without covering topics about depression or anxiety or being fired, or, you know, some people just kind of like feel like giving up. How do we speak to that in a storytelling way that's going to be memorable? And I got to find a spiffy salmon right now. That's what we're going to do. Here, I'm going to just do it live. Let's do it live. All characters. VeeFriends.com, all characters. Spiffy salmon. It should be under the S. Here he is. This poor bastard is going to get killed right now. Wait, I'm going to click him. There he goes. I'm just going to screenshot this. This is what I do. I might take one more look at... I don't really need to see him because he's going to be dead. He's just going to be a body in this, really. Oh. That's kind of good. Just to get the shape in there. He's got some interesting patterns on his... kind of like luchador looking lines on his self there. Oh, and I like to see how Gary drew him, so you can go through and see how much the NFTs are going for, how much they've sold for. Good old spiffy salmon there. Oh, this was a... whoa. Someone put a background of the Masters of the Universe collaboration that we had. It's just the fish sleeping. Oh, alright. Let's just take that. Is Spiffy going to get eaten? You know. Probably. So then I'll open up my... I got this reference board, and I'll just go ahead and just insert some from the... boom, 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 boom. Done. And now we've got good old spiffy salmon here. And because the plot that I thought of was, you know, the polar bear gets lured away from the cave by the smell of fish or something. And so I was like, wait a minute. We've got a spiffy salmon. Which polar bears don't necessarily eat salmon. They're not near there, kind of. They're not. They usually eat seals, but we don't have a seal. If we did have a seal, it should be called the Seal of Approval. What a wild brand to work on. I just want to say. Like, what a wild... It's so fun. So there you go. You can see what I'm doing there. So he's going to be kind of like a dead version of... Don't worry. VeeFriends are forever. So, you know, we saw the catfish get eaten before, but this is canon. But could it be that there are more than one? Could it be? All right. Get a longer body there than I... He's gonna be like, bleh. I'm just gonna have the X eyes. You know, when something's dead, it's got the X eyes there. Now, see, this is a good example of if you're a VeeFriends fan or a maxi, you know that this is spiffy salmon. if you're reading the comic for the first time in the newspaper, you got no clue. You're just like, oh, it's a fish. This bear's gonna eat a fish. So, you know, it happens. It's a circle of life. We don't need that other fin because he's kind of laying down. And then his fin starts way back here and goes kind of almost to the tip of his tail. And then once I get the basics down, I can, you know, 1 line there, 2 lines, sharps lines, 1, 2, 3 lines. So I'll at least get the coloring right, so that you know it's spiffy salmon. Doesn't really matter. Sorry, Spiffy. I don't know, I feel bad. I don't really feel bad. I just, you know, I gotta say that. There you go. So, let's see. There we go. This will also this will be kind of like I don't know what you would call this type of panel, but it kind of blends into a down shot then of the it's like what he's looking at. But I think it's pretty apparent by the smell arrow that'll be like, how many different VeeFriends have I eaten? What's up, Rocky? I don't know, man. Cow for sure, a chicken, yes, salmon, yes, peas, yes. I think I probably had a bison burger once. Nothing exotic, really. So, you know, let's just get in here and we'll ink them up as we go, too. Why not? I probably won't do the coloring until tomorrow on this. And the newspaper comic strip is due on Wednesdays. I gotta turn it in kind of old school way. I gotta upload it through an FTP program, so the editors or not the editors, but the graphic designers at the newspapers. It's like a whole network of them, you know. There's 72 different newspapers, so they pull from one big server. The comic sits there, and this goes on the weather page of 72 different, 72 different publications around the country. Also thought it would be funny, as I'm just riffing, where we're on the weather page. I thought it'd be really funny to have like a fake weather page where someone that's like reading the weather and they open it up and then like the VeeFriends are like, you know, somehow giving you their forecast in a funny way. Almost like the weather of V-World or something. And it's exciting too, speaking of V-World, it's exciting to have that be able to be talked about now that there's a V-World. We'll talk more about what is it, where is it, how do you get there. All will be revealed in the comics over time. Thank you for reading and collecting VeeFriends. We dropped that comic. Oh yeah, so I'll talk about that. One of the reasons I didn't talk about the lead up to it was we were supposed to get them in at a certain time that I was in New York originally. And I think we were probably going to have a late night show with Gary and I dropping some sign and, you know, ribbon signs. The comics didn't come in time. Just the logistics, let's call it, wasn't quite there, and so we decided, okay, Gary's on the move, I'm on the move. Fanatics Fest happened, but we also did it a little different this time because issue 2 sold out so fast, and we didn't do any kind of special pre-sale for the holders. I'll explain what holders mean in case you don't know, because there's some people watching, I know their names, that don't have a clue what I'm saying. Right now we speak in this other language that we need to kind of educate people about. So think of holders as like basically the super fans of VeeFriends. They bought these digital collectibles, NFTs, of the cards a long time ago. So some people collect certain characters, or there was Series 1 and there's Series 2. The Series 1 were very expensive. People invested a lot. That money, those collectors helped, kind of get VeeFriends going. And we also have gift goats, which are a different type of series of NFTs that they got the issue number 1 comic for free. They're the only ones that got it. So it's almost like the easiest way in layman's terms to say is that if you're a Series 1 holder or a Series 2 holder even, but specifically a Series 1 holder because it's very expensive, a lot of those, I consider you basically a super fan, a super collector pretty much. Not everybody can afford that stuff. So this time we allowed a holder pre-sale to happen because a lot of holders were unhappy that the thing sold out so fast. Gary was like, all right, we gotta hook up the holders. We should have thought this through a little bit better. I think the, not in our defense, but we'd never sold comics before. I think there was even some conversations where there was some doubts of, not from Gary and I specifically, but because Gary and I know that comics are the, comics. Can we sell 1,000? Will anyone want these? And Gary's like, guys, it's the first appearance of, but we'd never done it before, so we never had the proof that it would sell out, right? So it sold out super fast to the point where people are actually going what the heck is VeeFriends? Where did this come from? So you have a lot of speculators out there just wanting to get their hands on it too, to resell it on eBay. And it kind of worked out because, even though it sold out $25 at $25 a pop, you can still go to eBay right now and get yourself a first appearance of Fearless Fairy. I don't know where my copy is. It's bothering me. There we go. Well, this is a special copy. This was a printing proof. But you can still go get a $25 copy on eBay of, maybe not this one, but a sealed pack might hold this. There was only 100 of these hollow foils in the 3,000. Boy, they're pretty. But this is the first appearance of Fearless Fairy. And, if you believe in VeeFriends, and you believe in Gary, that Gary's building, we're all building, but Gary specifically, because this is his baby, building something that's going to be the next big story brand IP. See how careful I was there to not say the next Disney or the next Marvel or next, we don't want to be the next anything. We want to be the first VeeFriends, but I'll go one further and I'll just say we should be the greatest storytelling brand in the world at some point in the future. And I can die on that hill a little bit. I could say hey, a lot of stories out there right now, they're really told on the surface, and there's not a whole lot of meaning. There used to be. Marvel had a lot of good, thoughtful, want to change your life sort of things when you followed it back in the 60s and 70s. But not so much anymore. It's basically a corporate machine that is there to sell movies, and nothing against that, but the stories are kind of hollow and probably written by committees and, lots of cooks in that kitchen. It's all about the money and selling, and even not about the money, because Disney just keeps it alive. Disney keeps Marvel Comics alive because it's an engine for their movies. And you've seen how the movies kind of even ebbed and flowed a little bit. They always make tons of money, but not enough. Never enough. So, but to that point, you can see how Deadpool, a one-off character that was kind of just a fill-in character in Marvel Comics, in X-Men, Wolverine, has become its own billion-dollar franchise out of the universe, and no one believed it would be, and it was violent, and how would Disney ever mess with that? And here we are. So we're building a giant new story IP that we believe the characters and the situations in the stories can kind of make you think about life and smelly fish and maybe give you a little bit different perspective. Fearless Fairy, everybody could use that right now. Everybody could be a little more fearless. Blame Rips. Oh, no. I just had a fun conversation with Rips today where he was showing me the cool old covers from comics from like the 60s and 70s and what we call the Silver Age. Comics that always have like, the cool... they're on my wall. I can't unattach them. Like X-Men number 13 is Where Walks the Juggernaut. And when there's like a first appearance of characters on the cover, it would say like, now Iron Man or whatever. But he's like, well, isn't this what comics do? Shouldn't we have more of that on the cover? And I'm like, well, if you look at modern comics, they're not like that. Because basically too many words on a cover is the same rule as like copy and print. Too many words gets confusing. You want the cover to really stand out on a shelf, and if it's not in a comic book store, it's still online. You want your cover to really pop with the art. Like the cover sells comics really, to non-VeeFriends collectors. So, but I do like the idea of like the next blind bag. The next blind bag will have a little call out here that says like, introducing the three-horned harpig or something like that. So we're playing with that, and but I think a cover B or something would be kind of cool to kind of have that throwback Bronze Age or Silver Age cover for sure. Yeah. Ever done any hogs? Well, do you mean in VeeFriends or I think Patient Pig? No, the pig characters have not been in the comics yet. You might see some in like issue 6. At least one well-rounded one. Razorbacks. No. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Really fun stuff for the comic stories. Some cool cover artists. Holy cow, guys, I can't even tell you I can't tell you the names because it'll be a surprise, but one of our missions has been to get some big name cover artists for our comic, and we've got some award-winning comic book cover artists similar to J. Scott Campbell, but in that same family of awesome creators. Yeah, it's so good. But we've been doing, yeah, it takes time. It takes the patience to line that up. People's schedules are busy, you know. These people are famous in their own right as well, so sometimes they're not an easy get. Not even with all the money in the world, you know, time and people working at Marvel and DC and all kinds of stuff. Andrew Drillin's busy. That Andrew Drillin cover, you know, on this issue, Andrew Drillin cover. Andrew's drawing Aquaman right now for the new Aquaman at DC. It's like a cool webcomic where they've re-envisioned Aquaman. Andrew's been busy drawing that. Or we might even have him full-time on the team. He's amazing. He's amazing. Can I say who was drawing the cover for issue 5? I can't. That's one of the big... Chris Faison drew one of the covers for issue 5. I can tell you that. And I can't tell you the cover artist. Just because it's too much. When it drops, it's going to be really cool. August is the plan. What else? I might have a little something special for San Diego Comic-Con. I'll be out there. We don't have a table or anything, but we're I could be transparent about this. When I went to Comics Pro, we're doing a lot of awareness building for retailers, some top retailers and collectors in the comic book space. So being at San Diego Comic-Con, Andy and I will be out there, shaking the hands, things like that, speaking a little bit to some top retailers, and just letting them know, hey, this is VeeFriends, this is what we've been doing. Are you not familiar with Gary? I mean, it's my belief. Also, some of our, one of our consultants, he's really well known in the comic space. I won't say his name right now, but he's a big fan of Gary's as well. And it's really funny because people don't know who Gary is in the like 50-50. They either know who Gary is or they don't. And of those people that know who Gary is, they just don't understand what the heck we do. They're like, what's NFT? They might not trust NFTs, or they might just put us in one bucket. It's really hard to categorize what's going on with VeeFriends because we're just different. Are we Pokemon? Are we a card game? No, we're a brand. We're a story brand that's building. We're an IP. IP sounds so like I got to go take a pee or something. When you say it to like normal people, intellectual property sounds very corporate. It's what it is. But when I say like a story brand to people, they go, oh, okay. Oh, okay. You know. So, yes, our story brand includes collectible trading cards and digital collectibles and toys and stickers and Steph Curry and, you know, collaborations with some big people and things and more to come. And we're just building and building. As we say, brick by brick. But anyways, I will have something special at San Diego Comic-Con that only the retailers will get. I'm sure people will be seeking after these things. And I'm not going to say any more than that. You're going to see it and go like, I want one. And I'll be like, you got to hook up with one of these retailers. You know? Maybe they won't want to sell it. That's another thing. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. Who are some of my favorite comic cover artists? You're going to try to get me to accidentally say who it is. That's what you're up to. No, I love my personal feeling, and this is not, I can guarantee you that this is not the person. I like Greg Capullo. You know, he's working on, right now he's working on Wolverine and Marvel stuff. But Batman, Spawn, all that stuff. Greg Capullo is a machine. Spawn, Batman. Who else do I like? You know, I'm. If you ask my personal stuff, I'm like Todd McFarlane. I do like a J. Scott Campbell cover. I don't really collect that stuff, but Capullo I'll collect. Got a piece of his art. I got a piece of his art right back here behind my. There's some Capullo art there, signed. Probably the rare piece of comic art that I have on my wall, just randomly behind my monitor. Mostly it's mostly oh, what happened? Oh no. There we go. It's mostly concert posters back there. So zoop. I will be there. I'll be there all the days. Even the night before the days that I need to be there. That's when the really secret parties happen. I used to go back in my 15 minutes of fame in comic book land days. So I'm not a stranger to it. I don't think that if I didn't have VeeFriends, I wouldn't go because it's just a little overwhelming. And I don't really have, I'm not collecting anything. There's nothing that's going to excite me to see there, you know. I'm not like in the fandom. I'm more in the production of it. And I also don't like to be too inspired by other people's comic stories. So I kind of only collect, you know, I'm looking over there. I kind of only collect stuff from my friends, like Jim Rugg. I read a lot of Jim Rugg comics, and that's like Street Angel. And yeah, I don't really collect and read and absorb a lot of comic books right now. The stuff that I would read would be older stuff like Darwin Cook or New Frontier. The New Frontier from DC Comics was amazing. Old Jack Kirby stuff. I don't really, but I do absorb a lot of, and I read a lot. I read a lot of stories and a lot of books. So, but I'd stay away from fiction, you know. TV shows I'll watch and absorb a little bit. Even then, when you're doing this for a living, you got to kind of guard the thing where you're like, whoops, I accidentally was inspired by this or that. Yeah, I'm always, you know, kind of not weary of that, but all right, so what's happening here? What was the Pearl Jam cover? Those are all just Pearl Jam posters from shows. You're probably looking at that one's kind of a. Can I zoom in on it? Man, nope. It's not gonna let me zoom. Let's see if I can do it. That's kind of a Jack Kirby inspired Pearl Jam poster from Missoula, Montana. Iggy Pop Pearl Jam poster. G.I. Joe number 21 right there. Yeah, anyways. Beta Ray Bill, what's going on? How How's it going? Yeah, somebody else asked if I'll be at the national. I keep saying like I'm not sure. I believe yes, but I don't have the details yet. I got to just get those details, so I can't really make any plans. I know that Gary was saying to our events person about me drawing at the national and the different setup he wants, and so yeah, I imagine that's gonna happen. Here we're gonna draw this version of the fish down here. Good enough. Then we'll also change just a little bit of trajectory on the smell lines. So you can kind of guide it to the smell. And then I'll also change the eyeball of the bear to be looking at the fish on the ground over here. I'll reset the stream here in a minute. This is I'm working on a new Sunday strip. So for the Sunday strips, what we've been doing is more story based. Last Sunday, yesterday, it was the Willful Wizard trying to sneak into the icy ice cave, and the polar bear was like, "No way, get out of here." I think he even said, "Go away." He doesn't believe the wizard. The wizard threatens him. He tries to bluff his way in there. Polar bear ain't having it. He runs away. He's like, "Fine, I'll find another way." So he's like, "Sigh, wizards." And then, yeah. So this is a continuation of last Sunday's. And I might do this from time to time now. We're testing it. But now the polar bear is being lured away from the cave by some fish. We're going to have the wizard going like, "I can't believe that worked." So I'm going to get into penciling that. Iggy Pop does go hard. He's the grandfather of punk. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. For sure. What's going on? Why is my... Oh boy, I almost accidentally showed something. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I should... No, I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to show it. Don't do it. It's so tempting. I got to shut my Photoshop, though. DJ, be good. Behave yourself. I'm impatient. I'm an impatient panda, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. Impatient panda up in this house. I wish I was live on... Where am I live right now? I'm live on... It says I'm live on VeeFriends Comics, but I'm not, so I'm turning that off. On Instagram. Bye. We're live on X. We're live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. We're live on VeeFriends Comics YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys watching there and subscribing. And that's it. We're live on VeeFriends Comics TikTok as well. Which they're changing handles. We're changing the handles up. We're starting a whole new VeeFriends Comics channel from scratch, so that we can just focus on the storytelling and not have a big mix of all these different things that we've been doing. What we call the Alpha Age is coming to an end, and this is the canon era. So these stories that derive from the comic books are canon. So so says. scary. I can't wait. Well, I'm, there's a lot of stories I can't wait for you to see, but I'm also like, now we can talk about it. We can talk about issue 2 and issue 3, and so any questions you might have about that, I might be able to talk to that. Thursday, I will be doing the read through on my Whatnot stream. Put some food particles in. He's just having this lunch. Here. Getting 5 grand to the first 5 people to message me faith. Alex, I don't think you are I don't believe it. I don't have faith in that. Nobody give that man money. If anybody tells you that they're going to give you money on the internet, you should probably just don't do that. Please don't do that. And good luck to you, Alex. Hope you enjoy VeeFriends. You should read VeeFriends because you know about bad intentions versus good intentions. And, if you're looking to give money away, there's plenty of places that you can do it. But on the internet, it's a little shady. A little shady, my friend. You could be totally legitimate, but I'm like, no. You're looking a little happy there. Nom, nom, nom. Did I even put like nom nom? Yeah. Nom nom. And I'm not logged in as the admin, so I can't block the guy, or I can't get rid of the spam. Just please, nobody give that person money. Don't do that. Use your common sense. Where is he? Here he is. Common Sense Cal says, that man's not going to give you money. So, there's no shortcuts. Go ahead and save your money. Pay your bills. Don't wait around for someone to give you magical money off the internet. Right. Right, chat? Right. Hello, Elena. Appreciate you guys watching. This is just me doing my work. I'm working on a Sunday comic for VeeFriends. And this one's really fun. This is Prudent Polar Bear being lured away from the icy ice cave. This is the icy ice cave. I'm pretty good with that. I'm doing some penciling right now, and then we'll go into some inking. I'll probably do some coloring tomorrow. I don't know if I'll do that live. If I can find a batch of time tomorrow, maybe I'll do it live again. But, I had a lot of people concerned about, hey, you haven't posted as much, or you're not online as much as you used to be. And it used to be that I could just be a complete open book and show you everything I was working on, because I was working on a daily comic strip. And now we're working on some stories I can't show you, like the stuff for, New York Comic Con in October, and our cover artist stuff, that kind of stuff. I can't show you that yet, but we will get there. But every Sunday in the newspapers we have these strips, and so therefore I can show you a bit of this. Which connects to the comic books that we already have out. If that makes sense. This one semi-connects to issue 2, Fearless Fairy, and issue 4, which you haven't seen yet. But in issue 4, it is a very willful wizard tasks 3 young adventurers with an impossible task. Will they make it back alive? And we've got kind of a medieval looking thing happening there. By the way, if you're new, comics@VeeFriends.com. Let us know. And this will be the first time people are seeing Kate Wendell's joined our team, Kate Comics. This was the first comic story she drew for us. Many, many more coming. Super happy to have her on the team. Our comics team is just beyond, I gotta say. Especially the way we do things. I can't explain that completely to you yet, but it's just different. Alright, we got a little road sign here. I'm also designing this panel to be swipeable, so if I have 1 panel, 2 panels, 3 panels, 4, and then him over here eating at the end. Kind of for social media. Not kinda, it is. Kind of course. Of course. I'm not just doing this for my safe. I just opened that same comic. Larry said, well, BG Wildraw said, have you thought of a local meetup in San Diego? I think probably, because I'm going to be there from Wednesday to Sunday, and I can't imagine that I'll be doing VeeFriends 1,000% all day and night. Could be, but yeah. Let's pick a bar or something, or coffee shop, and do that up for sure. You're not, Larry. You're not in San Diego. You're not in San Diego, are you? Kelsey, what's going on? If you have any questions, let me know. Right now, I'm just penciling a little bit. Gonna be live for about another hour. I'm gonna put another hour in on this one. Why not? Hang out with you guys. Alex, you're in San Diego? How many people are going to San Diego Comic-Con? So I can't make a plan right this second, but I will be there. Shaking hands and all that stuff. And talking to a lot of retailers and just relationships, maybe lining up some cover artists, big cover artists for the comic, just comic business stuff. San Diego Comic-Con. It's really hard to get a ticket too, so like I said, I'm like, I'll check it out. I'll go in the show for maybe 1 day or 2 days and check out the floor, but it's so busy. The real action that happens at like the hotel lobby bars. That they're pretty legendary for comic book hangouts. A lot of creators are just like, just being cool, man. And then there's the young hustlers like I used to be a long, long time ago, trying to make friends with editors and, stuff like that. Totally get it. Got a lot of people trying to work for VeeFriends, and, we got a lot to do. It's just the beginning. So, I would just say my advice to people out there that are wanting that is to make sure you're making your own stuff. Be ready. Always, no matter what you're doing in life, try to be ready for the opportunity to arise. You know, I've had people go, man, I really want to work. And I go, yeah, well, show me your portfolio. And they go, I don't have one. And I go, that's too bad. I ain't got time for this. Well, what are you working on right now? How many comic pages have you ever drawn? Well, I've never drawn comics before, but I'd really like to be on your comic team. No, it's not how it's done. But cheers. I appreciate everybody watching, hanging out. Let's make a meetup happen. Lord Mandrake, are you in San Diego? I love San Diego. The weather's so nice. Except for when us East Coast boys get there and then it rains. Teacher Katie, what's up? Over on TikTok. Okay. So we're gonna have this going back to the Icy Ice Cave. Icy Ice Cave. What goes this way? This way would be Happy Hill. And then what would the other? Happy Hill's that way. And then back this way would be the Mindful Meadows. Where maybe you might find a creature known as the Mindful Minakawa. Perhaps. But yeah, V World, these road signs. There are places in V World. In V World, the best way I can describe it is, and I never knew this about Gary until we had our comic summit. He's a big fan of Wizard of Oz, and like he just liked Wizard of Oz, and like another place like Wonderland or Neverland or Oz. Well, now we have our own that, but it's different, and you'll find out way more in the upcoming future stories about what this is. How do you get there? Where do the animal, why are there animals talking? Like, all these things will be revealed and make sense. Hopefully, not everything has to make sense. All right, this will be the wizard's ghost hand here. He's kind of peeking around this ice. Yeah. I liked all the talk online about, like, is the willful wizard bad? Is he, or like, he's willful, like he's, I don't know, stubborn and whatever, but he obviously says he's trying to stop all of existence. He's on a mission. So maybe he has the best intentions, He's not out to hurt anyone. But sometimes in being who he is, his stubborn attitude and his, maybe, not like he's lying. He probably wouldn't see it as a lie when he says, like, I'm going to miniaturize you or whatever. Like, he probably sees it more of like strategic white lies or fibs. Fibs. It's a good word. Fibs. No fibbing. I used to live in Southern California for many years. I lived there for 10 years in Desert Hot Springs, California, right up the valley. And I used to go to San Diego Comic-Con every year. that was the thing to do in the summertime. And little drive from, I don't know how long, I forget how, maybe a couple hours drive down to San Diego, Chula Vista. My uncle lived in Chula Vista. He was in the Navy. Shout out Uncle Ed, Jimmy Dean, who now is retired, and I guess he's out in Denver or out in Colorado, and he like does sheep shearing, or he works on a farm, and he seems happier than ever. Just shearing sheep. Wild. What are we doing? Oh yeah, I'm drawing. Sorry, zoning out. Boy, this really locks me in because I can't like accidentally open my Slack or see messages. I'm just like, hey guys, I'm going live for a couple hours. I gotta do some comic drawing. You know, I won't lie, a couple nights this past couple weeks I've been up late because I've been doing so much other work that the deadline for the comic strip, and I'm like, oh boy, guess it's gonna be a late night. So Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights I've been staying up, you know, burning the midnight oil a little bit, which I don't mind. But I'm like, wait a minute, you know, we can get back on some live streaming. I can kill a bunch of birds with one stone. People were worried. DJ, are you okay? Are you happy? Are you happy at VeeFriends? Someone said. I'm like, what? Like, I guess I didn't see that perception, or people might be overthinking it. Like, I haven't seen you as much. Is everything okay? Are you still okay at VeeFriends? And I'm like, yeah, look, I'll show you. We're cooking up all kinds of stuff all at once. Look at this. Oh, got this. Whoa, that's. Can't show that. Zoom way out. Zoom way out. There you go. This is the world. Like every one of these blocks here that you see is an issue. This was issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, issue 6, 7. Writing. There's something down here. Look at that, Fearless Fairy. These are all potential things that are happening. These yellow boxes are giant buckets, franchise buckets, notes. You know, here is the model of V-World. We've seen this before. It's in the comic. Look at that. This is only one continent. Interesting. Here's Gary. Gary said, let's go deeper. Andy said, well, Andy swore. You know, anyways, there's a lot of stuff happening. So I'm fine. Just got a lot of stuff doing. It's a team effort. Lord Mandrake, all rise. Thanks for hanging out, dude. Kelsey asked, which brush do I typically use for your sketch starting up? I use a brush called Draw or Die Pencil. If you want my brushes, email us at comics@veefriends.com. We'll send you a link to the brushes and the templates. But it's a pencil that I made myself in Procreate a long time ago, and I just continued to use it. It kind of has a nice, I can go on the side like that. I can get a real fine tip point. So it's great for those, you know, I'm zoomed way too far in. This is basically a tiny little silhouette that's going to happen, but I like to get in there. basically hauling butt trying to get in this cave before the... I'm also thinking about artists like Alex Toth, who would say you don't have to draw every single line. You can simplify with some silhouettes. So you get that in there. You can see this in any comic book if you really open it up and look. You know, the little details. You don't see every finger. You know, he's got his staff. He's running with it. We might make some magic. You know, anything that's going to show motion without these speed lines, you know. You don't always want to do that. He's got his like robe, of course, so and that could be black, shadow, hands floating here. I do want the high stepping boot kind of coming out of the rope a little bit. His other foot's back there. And now we got a nice little high tail in it. He goes from like hiding to like, I gotta get in there. Yeah, he's like, I can't believe that plan worked. Yeah, sure thing. Kelsey, definitely stay in touch. There. Again on Thursday, if everybody wants to, you don't have to, but if you want to, on Thursday on our Whatnot app, there's a lot of stuff going on. What's going on today? Today at 4:30, coming up real soon, is case breaks. They do case breaks. They do all these different cool shows. But on our drawing board shows, I'm going to be reading this comic for the first time publicly. So I'll do the reading, and then I have a few rip-in signs. That means they're sending me about 30 or so copies that we'll have for sale, and I don't know how much they'll be, but they'll go really fast. I don't know how we'll work that, but I will open up 30 of them and sign them live on that stream. Is that too many to sign on a stream? 30? I don't know how long that's going to take, but we'll try our best. You don't have to buy them there. You don't have to do that. They're on eBay a lot cheaper, but if you are wanting something and you can afford it, that's what we're going to be doing on Thursday. I think it could change, but I believe that's the plan. I believe that is the plan. I believe that's the plan. Somebody DM'd me and asked how long I've been drawing. How long have I been drawing? Well, I mean, I've been drawing since I was a little kid. 4 or 5. My first memories were from tracing the comic strip newspapers, Garfield, other characters, mostly Garfield though, to be honest. And I learned how to draw Garfield. Didn't even realize it was a job or anything. And then, you know, 8 years old, I had like the epiphany that probably somebody draws it for a living. And I was like, wait a minute, I want that. I want to do that for a living. I want that to be my job. I don't want to go to a factory like my dad had to. And I had cartoon tunnel vision my entire life after that. And then I drew For about 13 years full time, starting in 1998. 1998, I went full time, working for different writers. Writers would need scripts drawn to pitch to publishers, and so I was a mercenary. I drew everything. I was a commercial artist. Some would call me an opportunist back then. Some jerks. Like, you're just an opportunist. And I'm like, hey man, I'm feeding my family and I'm doing my thing. And then, so I did that for 13 years full time. And I learned a lot in that time. And then I went back to a corporate job. I got a job. I said, I'll never work for anyone again. Never say never, because I got a deal that was too good to be true. Took that job, and I was there for 11 years and felt kind of stuck. And so, listening to people like Gary and my YouTube homies who said, DJ, you need to get back to drawing full-time comics. And I'm like, I don't know. It caused so much stress in my previous life, but I did it. Long story short, here we are. I'm back to it. This is what I was supposed to do. I'm lucky in life to know that this is my true self. And I hope whoever you are out there listening to this on this Monday, June 30th at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time, 2025. I hope you can find your true self. It's in there somewhere. Maybe you want to be a gardener. Maybe you want to sail the world. There's a guy and his cat right now sailing around the world. He sold everything and just took his cat on a boat, sailed from Oregon to Hawaii, because he was like, that's his true calling. Totally wild, risky, not practical, not a very practical peacock, but he was just like, to heck with it, doing it. Now, this is not me telling you to go do some wild thing. Be very practical and use your use common sense, to do that. Wasn't that wild for me. I was just drawing comics. I just using my imagination. So please don't do something nuts. I want him to be looking like he's pleased with himself here. Like, haha, my plan worked. That jerk. He's so smart. Little expression there. That's so fun when I nail like something I know I'm gonna have fun inking there. He's running in. He's got it all figured out, this wizard. Doesn't he? Kerbob said, me being back in the arcade industry. Yeah. What did you do in the arcade industry before? Arcades are fun, man. Arcades are really fun. I feel like I've seen some arcades lately that it feels like there's a whole new generation of kids that are exploring what seems like things from the 80s and 90s. They're actually getting outside and living again. When I talk to youngsters, I'm going to call them youngsters. Someone in their early 20s, 22. Even let's go younger, because I talked to some teenagers recently in the drawing club, and one kid was a wonderful artist. He came out to the drawing club night, and I was like, dude, stuff is amazing. Like, your work is awesome. Do you have an Instagram? And he was like, no. I'm like, well, TikTok? No. Heck no. And I was like, what? And him and all of his friends were like, yeah, man, forget social media. Like, they're not gonna give that. Like, I was like, so who sees your artwork then? And he goes, just my friends. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I felt like it was wrong. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, wait a minute. I didn't have the internet when I was in high school in the 90s. And how did people read the comics that I was drawing in high school? I would pass it around the freaking classroom. I'd get in trouble. Teachers would be like, DJ, put the comics away. And I'd be like, no. No, we would loan a copy out, because I only had one physical copy. I'd draw a comic and hand it to a friend. He'd read it, maybe take it on the bus home and bring it back the next day, and another friend would be like, I want to read that. And then they would take it. It was pretty neat. You know, it's pretty wild. So I get it. I was like, oh, yeah, wait a minute. Maybe we don't need social media for this stuff. But I'm like, but guys, it's really powerful. Like you could, I'm telling the guys, I'm like, dude, you guys are awesome artists. You should be building your audience right now. Build your true fans and stuff. And they just don't want to hear that. They're like, get out of here, old man. We don't care about fame or fortune. We're here for the... I'm like, I get it. I get it. I get it, man. You're speaking to the choir. Have you ever done NFTs? I have not. I had a bunch of people ask me to draw NFTs when it first happened. And it always turned out to be like, well, we're going to do this thing, and then we're going to have you draw all these things, and then you'll be a partner in this thing. And I'm like, nah, just not interested. But I am open-minded to NFTs and digital collectibles, and while some of my cohorts are not, some of my people in comic books are like, NFTs, it's bad. I'm like, no, that's silly. It's just digital collectibles. It's just proof of something, and but yeah, I think it'll probably be another. People say quicker. People say way sooner, especially Gary and folks over in this land, in Web3 land. They think that it'll become mainstream way sooner. I think we probably still have about another 20 years to go before it's like really mainstream. Like people are just using it day to day and don't even think about it. To be honest, I think we got a little ways to go. Just like I said, you got a whole generation of kids coming up right now. They don't give a crap about social media. And then even me saying it, like you go and if I said, yeah, if people say 5 years, like, oh yeah, 5 years, everybody will be using it. But I'm telling you, man, there's this silent generation of probably those kids were 13 at the drawing club night, junior high, and they just, I hope they come back. But here I am, this 49-year-old old man, and they're like, get out of here. If I said the word NFT to them, they might just light me on fire or something, or like just throw something at me. Get out of here. Like they think that they're very cynical cats. And I appreciate that, because I was also a cynical cat one day. Shep, what's up? Everybody has a short week this week. I am going to take the 4th of July off this year. I'm going to go see some fireworks with my wife. See? No know me on TikTok said, I'm your age. My son is like that. And then I got my youngest son's out of college, and he is an artist himself, Dakota. And he works making jewelry, like custom molded stuff for a manufacturer. I forget the name, and I wouldn't say it even if I knew it. Some really fancy stuff. And he's also very much against the man. And I'm like, all right, it's good. I can't force anybody to do anything. All right, so we got the pencils down. I'm going to draw for another half an hour here, live. This is VeeFriends. If you're new to VeeFriends, this is the comic books we put out monthly. We're getting the speed up. There's a lot to do, a lot to manufacture. We've got the comic books. If you go to VeeFriends.com, you can check out VeeFriends.com. I'm trying to get there. We've got the kids cartoon on YouTube Kids. Good for kids. We've got a Which VeeFriend Are You quiz. You could take a quiz and figure out which VeeFriend you like. We've got the Chrome trading cards that are out now. Super cool. I don't have any on my desk, which is weird. But Topps Chrome is out right now. I've got sketches in that. I drew the Y2K cards for the Topps Chrome. Pretty wild. And of course, I'm DJ, the what am I? The director of comics. Hello. I run the comics team. I write and create things with Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, hence the name V in VeeFriends. And we've got the comic books. We want you to read them. As a matter of fact, this is my call to action to you to go and sign up for the new comic releases email. This is only going to come directly from my comics team to you, letting you know when a comic drop is happening in the future, and also a weekly newsletter is coming soon, I hope. But get on that comic book mailing list. That's how we'll know you're really interested in the drops and the stories, and you can always read the comics for free right here. We have issue 1, cover by J. Scott Campbell, and we got issue 2, cover by myself, drew all the stuff inside. You can read these stories for free right here on the website. For free. Stories are free. Collectible canon is not. Let's see. Do I have the other one? The other one's loading out. It's really big. So, that's how you read the comics for free. And then we also have Sunday comics happening in newspapers across the country. 72 different newspapers have our VeeFriends comic strip in the newspaper. I'm drawing that and making that. And thanks, Casey. What's up? And that's what I'm drawing in this stream right now, is the follow-up to that last one. We're going story mode in the comic strips for the newspaper too. So here we've got the prudent polar bear being lured away by a smell. Sniffy sniff. Little inside baseball if you follow Gary. He's being lured away by some fish. He's getting lured away from the icy ice cave. I kind of want to make this bigger now that I'm looking at it. Let's bump it up. Yeah, that's good. It's way better. And then it's the freaking wizard, and he's sneaking into the cave. That's what's up in this upcoming week's episode. So there you have it. But a lot of fun. The stories are really gonna take VeeFriends to a different world over time. People will get to know. When you see a polar bear right now, this is really interesting about marketing and storytelling in general. Because in my school of thought, all marketing, if you don't understand marketing as a creator or comic book artist or whatever you're doing, marketing just means storytelling. So whoever's telling the best story wins. And sometimes stories die out. So if you, before working at VeeFriends, if someone told me polar bear, what's the first thing in the chat? Tell me. I'm telling you polar bear. Don't think of VeeFriends. What's the second thing you think of? Chat, say it. Polar bear. White polar bear. What is it? I'm going to read the chats. While I'm doing that, let's turn around here and I got the good old machine. Let's do that. Pink. Vending machines. All right. Coca-Cola. That's right. You thought of Coca-Cola. Now tell me pink or purple in the chat for the next pencil topper that I'm going to open. Pink or purple. So that's one of my jobs as a storyteller is soon, you know, a generation's going to go by. You're not going to think of a polar bear and Coca-Cola anymore. You're going to think of a polar bear and the icy ice cave. Purple. Let's do purple. Pink. Purple, purple. Purple it is. So, when something becomes sticky, polar bear's been sticky for a long time. Same thing with wizards. When you hear wizard, you might have think wizard goes the gamut. When I tell you wizard, what do you think? I'm just curious. Because I know where my brain goes. Hey, look, it's a nifty narwhal. Detailed. Sweet. When you hear wizard or you see a wizard, what do you think of? Because this is wild. Story. Most people are going to say Harry Potter. Wizards. But there's Harry Potter, Wizard of Oz. Okay, Wizard of Oz, Harry Potter. Before Harry Potter, it would be Lord of the Rings, Gandalf. He was the wizard. He was the top wizard of the time. Wizard of Oz wasn't even really a wizard. He's kind of a con man. But Wizard of Oz, yes. Harry Potter's probably on top right now. But for a while, it was Gandalf. So our job as storytellers at VeeFriends is when you see a wizard, you, a VeeFriends fan, and if you're new to VeeFriends now, welcome. Now, when you see a wizard, I want you to be thinking in your mind the next time you see a wizard, any wizard, even if you see Harry Potter, you're going to think about our wizard sneaking into the icy ice cave with the polar bear, right? And we could do this with how many animals are involved in VeeFriends, you know what I mean? Like when you see the character and the story and the whatever, it's more sticky. We want to stick in your head. Up until that point, you might just have a toy, like, oh, look, it's a little wizard toy. Great. Cool. But now you know this guy's willful and he's trying to sneak in and he's battling this bear. And he's tricked the bear now with some dead fish. Or live fish, whatever. So, you know, that's just some of my thinking behind storytelling and marketing. And you can learn this. You could learn this with anything that you're doing, any business that you're doing, whether you're selling arcade games or peanut butter. That's the move. See, everybody's gonna fight out their wizards. Gandalf is better. I agree. Gandalf's a pretty wild, you know. Gandalf was probably the best wizard. You could argue that, well, nothing new under the sun, but a lot of Harry Potter was derived from the wizard Gandalf and like those, you know what I mean? Like the Gandalf looking wizard was definitely Dumbledore, you know what I mean? But Gandalf was way before that. But it's interesting how one story leads and then Another comes and goes, and one's forgotten, and people forget real fast. People forget things real fast. Gary and I are full of like 1980s pop culture knowledge. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, have you guys heard of this? And other people on the staff that are much younger will be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But Gary and I will look at each other and go like, you know. I'm like, yeah, you know. Everyone else has to Google it. Because we grew up in the 80s. We're Generation X. Wizard needs food badly. I think that I used to think of that with what I said about making things sticky. I used to think about that with my own webcomics that I did a long time ago. I had a llama and I had a cobra, and the fans that build up over time, even to this day, and I still don't do those comics now, but I'll still get fans from back then that'll send me a picture of a cobra and be like, Spax back, or, you know, it was really sticky, and like it becomes a memory for a connection between you and the fans and or the readers and the collectors if you do it right. It's pretty fun. It's also fun to kind of like build that in a little bit. So that's what I'm thinking about when I'm drawing a polar bear. I'm like, I don't want people to think about Coca-Cola. I want them to think he guards the icy ice cave. And then I want you to go one layer beyond that and be like, why? Who put him in charge of that? Is it just something he's always done? Does he like it? Is it just a job? Does he punch a clock and show up? That's the way I would lean. That, yeah, it's a job that he's doing. It's a job that needs to be done. He gets paid for it some way. He shows up, punches the clock, some other character leaves the icy ice cave. They've got like a little punch clock in there. Like, all right, it's your turn. Your shift. What other character would guard the icy ice cave? We have a penguin. He wouldn't be very intimidating. A wolf? Yeah, we have a whimsical wolf. I don't know if he'd be very... Maybe he would just like whimsy your butt off, like when you got there, he'd like sing to you or something. Yeah. What else do we got? Nom nom. Bobcat? Maybe. Yeah, Boss Bobcat. I'll take that. I like that one. So Thursday I'll talk more about, I was going to talk a little bit more about issue 3, but people are still reading it, getting it. Should be arriving to people that ordered it. We'll talk more about that on Thursday's stream. And this is VeeFriends. Over 200 and... well, now I can say 280 characters on a mission to help you find your true self. It's kind of part motivational, but now we're also part, you know, story brand, adventure, games, toys, collectibles, all of it. Somebody was not complaining, but saying like, man, I can't, another product just launched. Because we have a Steph Curry collaboration. Steph Curry, but the super stickers, the manga super stickers was Steph Curry, and like we just dropped the comic, and it's like, okay, like you'll drive yourself crazy if you're trying to collect. If you were collecting Marvel and you were like, I need to get all the Marvel socks and the toys, and then it's gonna drive you nuts. So you just need to pick like a lane that you like and collect the things that you like, and don't try to get it all. You know, don't drive yourself crazy. It's supposed to be fun too. Gary wants you to have fun as well. Like, don't forget that part of it. It's fun. The community is awesome. We'll never make everybody happy, that's for sure. I see every time we try to make a move where we're like, hey, we're going to help the NFT people get their books this time with this launch. I knew that 3,000 books would go, so I didn't even really put out too much social about it, because I didn't want my friends that are non-NFT holders to be like getting their hopes up and then let them down, like the opposite side. Because like my main goal is to bring new people into VeeFriends. So we've defined that balance of how do we, you know. So I said, well, if there's some books left over, then I'll tell my people, you know, my personal people. But if not, I wouldn't want them to waste their time feeling disappointed, you know, when they couldn't get it. But that's okay. But I would also say that there's plenty of time. You know, there's things like eBay, and prices go up and prices go down, and the strips are free, or the comics are free to read. Don't feel like you have to own something. I know it's addicting to collect things, because I collect things sometimes too. But just be patient and don't spend money you don't have. You know, Gary will say, don't stop buying dumb stuff. Our stuff's not dumb, but if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Please. Take care of your house first, you know, in physical and mental space. And then collect what you want. Collect what you want to collect. Collect NFTs, yeah. Like, you know, I've got some people are down on NFTs, and I'm like, people like to collect them. They don't understand how it works, but I'm like, the people that do know, and they like it, and they'll show you their gallery and share their stuff that they're collecting and stuff. There's something for everybody. You know, I think Rip said that once on a stream. He's like, people collect different stuff, man. People collect bottle caps, and you know, but you don't have to collect it all. You don't. It's not a competition. You know, we don't even care. I know Gary and I don't really care if you own an NFT or a piece of the comic. Like, we just want you to follow the community and the vibe. You don't have to be able to afford thousands of dollars worth of collectibles to be part of the community. There's people in here that know that, and it's more of a supporting each other and being positive, and this vibe that I've got on this stream here. Because life is, you know, you're in it, man. You know what I'm saying. You're going to have struggles and challenges, and if you have a friend out there that can say, the challenge brings a change, hang in there. We got people in the community fighting cancer, debt, family issues. There's going to be a million different problems that you're going to have in life. And if you're alone, it's hard to... I'm not saying like alone in the fact that like nobody's going to give you handouts, you know. But like, if you have no one to talk to and no one to like commiserate with a little bit, sometimes it's okay to commiserate and be like, man, I can't believe this thing's happening. And then just getting that perspective from another person that's been through it, or, hey man, it's gonna get better. You gotta get through the storm a little bit. I've been in storms. It sucks. You could just laugh at it and go, this sucks. Like, this bad thing that's happening, you're like, man, this sucks. But it won't always. You can just laugh and know that. This sucks for right now, but man, I can't wait. One of these days, this shit's gonna turn around and you're gonna laugh at it one day. Or you're gonna go, man, I can't believe I worried about that thing, or I can't believe I made it through that. That kind of feeling, right? That's life. Whatever, I'm rambling. I'm at it for 2 hours now. We got a good bit done on this penciling wise and talking while I'm working, and I haven't done this in a while. I don't know if you want me to do more. Let me know. I might go back to the early morning streams if I can get out of some meetings. We'll see. Also, not just meetings, but I write in the mornings, and it's kind of hard to get out of that. Gotta fill the bucket up with things to draw. You know. If you ever do gnomes, we have a gnome. You know about the gnome, right? I mean, we've got the knowing gnome. Have you read the book? The knowing gnome is like really big character. Big character. This is your first time? Dude. Welcome, number one. And number two, like I said, make sure you email us. comics@VeeFriends.com. This just goes to Corso and I. And we'll hook you up with something. But yeah, we've got the knowing gnome. He's like, he's big time in the stories, man. So issue 2, he's basically the narrator in a sort of way, because he's the knowing gnome. He just knows, But yeah, welcome. I'm glad you found us. I had a feeling, I thought maybe you were talking NFTs and stuff, that maybe you were, and you knew Bobcat, you knew the Wolf. I thought you already knew VeeFriends, man. But we got over 280 characters out there, and yeah, NFTs, they're a little expensive, but there's some Series 2 NFTs out there that aren't that bad, and there's some utility to them too, because like I said, we just put up the comic book that we just put out to the NFT holders, and it almost sold out in the holder pre-sale. There was only like a few hundred copies left in the public sale, and they went like that. They just sell so fast. Yeah. You can look up VeeFriends on eBay and see what they're going for. Are you familiar with Gary V? No? Know me? Okay. Well, yeah, this is his brand. This is his baby. I'm very honored that he trusts me with his characters. It means a lot. Fun times. Let us know how old your kids are too. Maybe we can get them a little something. I think I just had a spider climb down. What the heck? I don't need this in my life, guys. I don't need spiders climbing around. But been trying not to kill bugs. Try not to. Even those creepy spiders, I just try to put them outside. I've been very nice about that ever since I started to read about consciousness and study consciousness and do transcendental meditation. And I'm like, wait a minute, what if this spider's my dad? He's back as a spider, and then I kill him. That's, stream of consciousness. That's what you're going to get. That's what I think about sometimes. There was a little ant on the couch that came in from the cat outside yesterday, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, there's an ant. I almost mushed him. A little tiny ant. And I thought twice, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put him on a little napkin. I'm just going to set him on the back porch, because it could be my dad. It could be your dad. Could be. Could be somebody. Maybe they don't want to be an ant anymore, but it's not my job to, move them on. I try to respect the... Now I'm listening. Anybody listen to the telepathy tapes podcast? That's nuts. I mean, not nuts. Totally makes sense to me. The idea that non-speaking, non-verbal kids with autism actually have telepathy abilities, pretty crazy. But it's really cool. Like, it's pretty cool. Especially now that I've already studied consciousness enough to go like, this is probably accurate. It sounds like science fiction, but wow, there's some real crazy science to it. It's nuts. It's wild. We don't know anything. That's what I know. That's what knowing Gnome knows, is that you don't really know anything. You think you know, but you have no idea. Oh man, spiders in your basement is the worst. You go down there, do some laundry, spiders jump out and want to shank you, take your wallet. Yep. Well, it's been fun hanging out for a couple hours. I haven't done this in a while. Appreciate you guys. Welcome to the new people again. Gnome. Zen says you're so chill. I am pretty chill. Chill Chinchilla, that's one of the VeeFriends. Welcome to VeeFriends. We're similar to like a Pokemon, Marvel. We got over 280 characters. Trading card game, collectible trading cards, and I run the comics team. We're putting out monthly comic books, telling these stories, hanging out with the community. That's probably the unknown, the unsaid thing in this stream that I haven't said. I usually say is that our community is so full of positive ladies and gentlemen, and they take care of each other, and they really live the traits: kindness, passion, patience, but we got some that are like willful wizard. You could be willful, but willful could also mean discipline. You got to be disciplined with yourself. I've been talking for 2 freaking hours while I draw. Crazy. Any smooth spiders? Not here. Not here. There are no smooth spiders here. There's creepy ones. Creeping around. Being creepy. Doing creepy spider things. Don't like it, sir. I'm not a fan. But I'll tolerate them. No. Not a fan of these spiders. Mike, hey DJ, hype horse. Is this Mike from Fanatics Fest that got the hype horse? I don't remember if her name was Mike. I think it was. Let's see. I can, I don't want to do that. I could probably show that drawing somehow. Let me do something real quick. I'll just hang it out. If I can turn my phone off. Just because I don't want to like accidentally give my like information or screenshots of things that sometimes I screenshot passwords. Alright, we're getting back there now. I'm finding a picture of you, Mike. Hold on. There he is. Turn this back on. There he is. That's Mike. And that's the hype horse I drew for him at Fanatics Fest. I usually take a... Let's see. There he is. Hype horse? People really like that. Like when I was drawing that, and they were like... especially the staff, we know what's going on. I'm doing well, my friend. I'm working on the Sunday comic right now. It's in newspapers. See what I just said about the community? And there's Mike showing up. I just met Mike at Fanatics Fest. Him and Teresa, I think. And Teresa got a Gratitude Gorilla drawing, and really good energy from Fanatics Fest. It's nice to bring in new people. Thursday, I'm going to be on our Whatnot. Whatnot is a app called Whatnot. And on Thursday, I'm going to do the first read-through at 10 a.m. Thursday, Eastern Time. I'm doing the first read-through of VeeFriends number 3. First read-through features a story about a young lady named Anna who has been made redundant and terminated, replaced by AI from her work. And now she just feels like a nobody. She got her pink slip there in her hand. And I'll read that comic and talk more about V-World on the Thursday stream. So make sure you go over to Whatnot, download Whatnot, bookmark it. That's where I'll be on Thursday. Read the comics for free at VeeFriends.com. And we have Sunday comics that are in newspapers across the country on Sundays, and I'm working on one of those right now. It was an awesome first experience. Thanks, Mike. It was good to meet you guys. I'm glad you hung out. That was a wild show. I did 39 total sketch cards, and I've got a little waiting list built, so I'm slowly getting to those and shipping those back to people that I met at Fanatics Fest, and I've got another waiting list to do, and we are going to get through it. Those are real special cards that I don't usually do. But I was feeling it. I was like, you know what? Let me come up there and draw for 2 days straight. I'll do it. Yes, sir. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. Got another DM from... What's this? No, sorry. I don't... The comics sold out. The comic books sold out. Issues 2 and 3 are sold out, but there are some on eBay. So if you go to VeeFriends Comic, you search for VeeFriends Comics on eBay, you're going to find some people that are selling them for a little bit more. But if you really, really want a copy, that's probably the best time to get them, is like now. Because the sketch covers, Gary's sketch cover's still out there. My sketch covers are still hidden inside there. Really cool covers from Andrew Drillin. Now's a good time to go to eBay and get them on the secondary market. Josh Courage is having a show tomorrow night. He's ripping and signing, or he's ripping the books live and shipping. Rip and Ship comic book show from Josh. That's fun. But yeah, we just want you to read the comics, Gary and I. I appreciate the sellouts because the more the comic sells out, the more we can build the comics team and build things, you know. I don't like to just I'm very impatient, and I like to be able to cover our own costs, even though, you know, I'm sure that's not, no one's ever told me that, but I've said it out loud. I'm like, hey, we need to bring some money in to cover I'm a business-minded person, so I want to make sure that, you know. So sellout books, awesome, really great. Can hire more people. We can put out more books. We can tell more stories, build the brand more and more and more and more. And we're going to be putting out a lot of comics. Just wait. And we might go to 2 a month sometime in the future. Gary wants to. So we are at no shortage of stories with over 280 characters. Have you tried Procreate Dreams at all? I have not. I haven't had time, but I got to, because some of the stuff I've seen my friends doing in Procreate Dreams is pretty fantastic, and it's magical to me. It's magical to me. Someone asked what the fish is doing. So to explain what's going on here, again, in yesterday's comic that was on the newspapers, Wizard is trying to get into the icy ice cave. Polar bear guards it. He's like, get out of here, go away. And he threatens the bear. The bear's like, I don't like your vibe, old timer. And he keeps it up. The bear says, I'm going to eat your other hand. And the Wizard's like, oh, fine, I'll find another way in. And he's like, oh, wizards, man. So it's basically like the wizard messing with the bear. So in this one, it's the bear's been lured away from the cave by a fish. Like a trail of fish leading him away from the cave. This idea came to me this morning when I was walking the dog, and I was like, okay, this is it. And then the wizard hightails it into the cave, and he's running into the cave. I can't show you the rest because I want it to be kind of a secret. But if you're new, email us at comics@VeeFriends.com. We'd like to hear from you, and I'll send you some stuff and whatever. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Oh, it's 5:11. Holy cow, I'm way over. Hey guys, I gotta go. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe to YouTube. I'm gonna try and find a block tomorrow to come back, finish up this strip tomorrow. Maybe some coloring and stuff like that. And yeah, thanks for watching. VeeFriends are forever. I'll see you tomorrow.